What can I get you?
The PB&B RHC on a roll.
Aren't you blessed with a fast metabolism? You running a marathon or something?
Sorry, I'm in sort of a rush for the sandwich.
A robbery gone wrong.
I need you here now, Barry.
I'ma give it every minute, every second, every breath, every muscle, every step, every weapon. No matter what you throw at me, the top's where I'm headed.
Now, is that fast enough for you?
You can go anywhere. Another timeline, another universe. So why do you want to stay and fight to save this one?
Because this is the world where my mom lives. I can fix things. You could also destroy everything.
This world must die.
If you went back and changed the past, you changed the future.
What did you do?
Want some help? Yeah. I'm Batman.
We can fix this. Nobody dies! The Flash.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. There's a brand new Flash trailer and a whole bunch of Henry Cavill Superman scenes in it, confirming that he's in the movie for a lot of people that were worried that they just wouldn't put him in at all. There's a bunch of other new footage, so we'll break it all down. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. Because the movie's so close to coming out, we'll also start the movie ticket giveaway. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and let me know what you want them to do just in general with the Flash character going forward after this. Just starting at the beginning of the footage, working our way through shot by shot, talking about Easter eggs and WTF moments as we go along. They have the funny moment with him at the coffee shop, getting breakfast, going to Central City Police Department like he's on his way to work regularly, like he would be during a normal day. And they just had the joke about the shop clerk taking his time, making his order like PB&J. Okay, great. This will just take a couple minutes to put together. But then while he's getting it, all these Justice League problems erupt all over the world, all at the same time, all different problems. On the news down in Guatemala, he sees Henry Cavill Superman working to stop a volcano from erupting and destroying the area. The other funny thing that's going on here is that he's trying to decide who to go help. Like, oh, he's got all these other Justice League people, like he's got Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman. They all start having their own problems. Who does he join in which part of the world to help them? When he's watching Henry Cavill's Superman stop the volcano from exploding, you also notice on the news ticker here, it says the White House pledges to help Guatemala. So the idea is that Henry Cavill is also working with the US president at this time, but I don't think that we know who the actual US president is within the world of the Justice League. The funny connection to this is that in the universe of the Boys TV show, which is like a dark parody of the DC and the Marvel comic book characters, they have a huge White House US government plot. Like the whole idea is that Vought is trying to get into the White House, take over the White House basically. Then he gets the call from Alfred. They have that funny scene from the previous trailers where he's trying to go help Batman because Batman says, I need you here in Gotham City. That's where all the scenes of him fighting these criminals are happening. And they continue in that moment with the clerk taking his time, making his PB&J. They make it seem like this huge epic event. They finish that, and then he goes back to the coffee shop in Central City, and the guy is just finishing his PB&J order. Like, oh, was that fast enough for you? But it's only been a couple minutes. One of the other interesting things going on here, too, is that when Ben Affleck's Batman is yelling at him, Barry, I need you here now, it sounds a lot like Kevin Conroy's Batman voice. A lot of people asking about this because this is from an earlier trailer.
Patching you into Mr. Wayne.
No, please don't.
I need you here now, Barry.
Vengeance. I am the Knight. I am Batman!
I am vengeance. I am the Knight. I am Batman!
I don't think they're trying to go for any kind of Kevin Conroy kind of vibe or anything like that. It's just him doing a really cool version of the Batman voice without any kind of special modulation, which makes you wish that they actually kind of did this during the previous movies too. Kevin Conroy probably had one of the most iconic Batman and Bruce Wayne voices of all time. That's why people say that his Batman is one of the best Batmans of all time. It's just that he happened to be an animated Batman. He did get to play live-action Batman briefly during Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Battle not with monsters, lest you become a monster.
In Batman Beyond, I played an older Bruce Wayne. He still had hope for the world.
I can barely walk, let alone wear that again.
This Bruce Wayne, he's become so broken and so embittered by life that he sees no hope for the world. The point of this exoskeleton is to support his body because he's been so beaten and broken that he would not be able to stand up without it. And then they turn it on, and I go, no, I never thought I'd get a chance to do it on camera because I was getting older and older and older. I was sort of aging out of Batman, you know. But luckily, I aged into old Bruce Wayne.
It'll be interesting to see if there are any actual references to his animated Batman because we had the whole multiverse involved. I'm not expecting it, even though they're including all these cameo scenes from all different actors all over the canon, bringing them together through the Speed Force. I don't think they're getting quite as crazy as Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse gets when you talk about blending live action and animated elements together. Without getting into spoilers for that movie, I just posted like a giant breakdown hour-long video for that. You can watch that and learn about everything that happens during that movie. It would be cool, though, if Barry does see some animated versions of the characters from across the canon when he travels through the Speed Force, but just don't expect it in the movie. It looks like Batman has already given him the Flash ring with the brand new version of the Flash suit. I'm sure there'll be lots of opinions about which version of the Flash suit is the best one, like Zack Snyder's version of the suit, which he wore more recently in that Peacemaker post-credit scene with the Justice League. In the brand new version of the Flash suit, which is also a little bit different from the comics, but I think the idea is they were trying to make it a little more comic booky with the actual Flash ring. They also have a funny moment here where you see the people recognize him. They call him the Flash, like people already calling him the Flash, which they weren't doing during Justice League yet. That was the whole joke of Crisis on Infinite Earths with the Grant Gustin crossover. That he was learning about the Flash name for the first time. Like, the Flash, wow, that actually sounds like a cool name. I think I'm going to start using that. They had the funny moment where they asked for his autograph. He asked for their candy bar because he still needs some food. Like, it's more jokes about him being a snack hole that he started during the Justice League movie. Because the Flash TV show also ended its run, one of the last episodes, they actually had a reference to this because they did a joke about that during the 90s John Wesley Shipp Flash TV show.
You want this one?
No, help yourself.
Oh, great, thanks.
Would you like another one?
You see him wolfing down a whole bunch of pizzas. They did a version of that with Grant Gustin's Flash, but it was him going back to the night that his mother was murdered, so it was parents buying him all the pizzas. During the Flash movie, he just asked them for like the piece of the candy bar that the woman hasn't finished eating yet. Like, are you done eating that? Are you sure? I really need those calories. The way they got around this problem on the Flash TV show in the early seasons, I think it was like one of the first couple of episodes that they did this, is that they had Cisco create this high-calorie candy bar, and then they never referenced it again. Like, the Flash just continued burning all these calories and eating all these crazy high-calorie candy bars. Ben Affleck also did say that there were supposed to be a bunch of cameo scenes from Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman during this big bridge save. It sounds like it was from the same event. The other funny thing is that he also says that it's like the best Batman that he's ever done in any movie ever. So he's like, maybe I should come back now. That's mostly tongue-in-cheek. Like, I do think that he's moved past the idea of doing more superhero stuff, but it's really more of a never say never kind of situation. So as a fan, I would just say the best way to treat stuff like this is never say never, but don't expect stuff to happen like right away. James Gunn did say that they would cast a new version of Batman for all their big Justice League crossovers as part of the new DC 10-year plan that he developed. They did say when the Superman Legacy movie happens in 2025, in that universe, there'll already be a bunch of big characters that exist in the movie. They didn't say which characters, so I don't know if the new version of Batman will also debut in that or the new version of Damian Wayne, because that is the big deal. Like, they're doing a version of Damian Wayne Robin, so obviously Nightwing will be much older. They're doing more Bat Family, so it'll be interesting to see which other versions of Robin exist in the universe. When he starts changing all the timelines and they have the big fight with Zod later in the movie, like the big final fight, you see a bunch more scenes of both versions of the Flash using the Speed Force while fighting in a way that it would have been really cool to see on the Flash TV show. Like, this is what the Flash looks like when he's using his powers while he's fighting. One of the other interesting things is that you see both versions of the Flash chasing each other through the Speed Force, trying to travel in time. They say that there's sort of like a Back to the Future element during it, where he tries to go back in time multiple times, but things keep going badly. You also hear him arguing with the younger version of himself, and the younger version of himself screaming like in a much scarier kind of way, I am the Flash, like in a very final kind of way, like he's fighting the older main version of Barry.
Nobody dies! I am the Flash.
During the movie, part of the idea, I think, is that this younger version of Barry starts traveling and trying to change things. Over time, he gets twisted into the dark, evil version of the Flash, and he winds up encountering that dark version of the Flash from different points in the timeline throughout the movie. If you didn't watch the Flash TV show, that's basically like a Savitar twist. He's basically fighting a Savitar version of himself, because Savitar in the Flash TV show was just an older version of Barry from later in the timeline who had grown evil. If you spotted any other Easter eggs or references during the trailer footage that I didn't talk about during the video, just write them below in the comments, and I'll do more videos as we get more footage the next couple of weeks. We still have a couple more weeks to go before it comes out in theaters. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse just came out in theaters. It was great. There were so many Easter eggs and references. I just did like an hour-long breakdown. You can click here to watch that. There's so much stuff in that movie. Henry Cavill also saw the Flash movie recently and was reacting to it. You can click here to learn all about that. Thank you so much for watching. Everyone stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.